How's it going, doggy people? I hope you all are doing well. We are back at it again with another video from Southend Dog Training. This was recommended that I look at this a little while back, so I'm working my way down the list. This is a St. Bernard overly friendly large dog. So we're going to be looking at these guys. I just wanted to say thank you for interacting with the poll I recently posted. I hear you all out that a lot of you are totally fine with whatever length of video that I put out there, so I appreciate that. I do see those of you who do want 20 minutes and under, they would prefer, and I can certainly do that. I can sprinkle those in there, or if I have a particularly long video, such as this one, roughly 24 minutes, I'm going to try and roughly 24 minutes long. I'm going to try and get through it as quickly as possible. But would you be interested in seeing multiple parts to a longer video that are about maybe 20 minutes each or so? Or do you want me to just kind of, zip on through here a little bit more quickly, and we won't necessarily go through the entire video? So let me know what you think. Of course, I'll be sprinkling in some longer videos, shorter videos, in between there, just to give everybody a little taste of everything, so we can make sure that everybody's happy and satisfied. So we're going to be going over this again. Southend Dog Training, I believe in England, is what I was told. So thank you very much for informing me on that. So as always, using this under Fair Use Act for just criticism, educational purposes. I'm just using this to point out what I see that the average dog owner may not see. Me being a trainer, and I know the tips and tricks of the world of dog training, and I'm mainly trying to give a voice to the dog. So a lot of people will not notice that they switch the dog from a flat buckle collar or a harness to a slip lead or a corrective collar. So I try to point that out so people aren't getting bamboozled, and they, he may explain it to the owner, but a lot of people seeing this are going to think that it is simply just magic. So without further ado, let's get started.
Too interesting.
So very big St. Bernard, very happy dog.
Too interesting.
Hello,
Oh my
Baloo.
gosh. Very, very, very powerful. I mean, look how red this hand is. I mean, they're holding on for dear life.
It's literally where Baloo wants to go. You follow.
Yeah.
So even for a dog, I've worked with St. Bernards before, big Mastiffs. Even for dogs, Great Danes, as powerful as this, look at that red hand. They're really holding on, and they're doing pretty good. But, for a dog as large as this, I use the same technique. I think this leash is a little short for me. It looks like maybe a 4-foot leash. A lot of people use these shorter leashes with larger dogs because there's less slack in it. I don't know. There's less to jumble up. But I use a 6-foot leash, and I teach them on a regular collar or harness. And when they want to pull, I kind of have to dig my heels in and apply the same amount of pressure I do with any other dog, as much as needed to turn them sideways or we stop with their forward movement. I apply just enough pressure to get them to want to give in by a step. The reason why I would pull on them sideways very gently, not just yanking them around, is because I want to take them off balance and get them to give to pressure lightly. And over time, then this dog pulling will be much softer on leash.
Sorry.
So it doesn't help that he sees something over here. So of course I would practice this in an area that is low to no distractions. We practice indoors and just outside the door, in front yard, backyard, all that.
Let me flap hole.
God, so he's got the zoomies. I mean, right now I would just let go of the leash. I would instruct the owner, let go of the leash, just let him get his zoomies out. This can be dangerous for any dog because they can get tangled, they can hurt somebody, they can knock somebody over. So I wonder too about how the lifestyle of him growing up. I mean, he could be 9 months old at this size, or he could be 2.5. But I especially with these giant breeds, how do we not start training the dog to be gentle when they're young? I mean, yeah, I understand that, it may not be common sense, but it should be. Again, I'm just putting accountability out there. I'm trying to hold the people accountable and not the dog, because the dog is being a dog. If I have a dog, whether I'm a trainer or not, I would certainly try to start raising them way before these problems happen. This has been coming for a long time. Whether this dog is 6 months old, or even 5 months old at this age, which I believe he's probably a little bit older than that, but, or if he's like 6, So you have plenty of time to work your way up to it, and teaching them, and you don't have to have any background in animal science or behavior or anything like that, just to be aware that I need to teach this guy to be soft and gentle, because when he's going to be a giant, when he's an adult, that's what happens when you get a Saint Bernard. They are going to be a very large dog.
Yeah. I mean, this.
So just in all honesty, he's not neutered, which I don't have any problem with that really necessarily, as long as you're not trying to breed them. I mean, I think it's fine for health-wise, and I think a lot of animals in the England and UK are not neutered. There's a lot of intact animals, male and female, which again can be health-wise, especially for a very large breed. You want to keep them, intact until their growth plates close, and just make sure that they get all the hormones they need before they are desexed, if at all. So off of that tangent, I completely forgot what I was just talking about, but I mean, yeah, like, again, knowing that we're gonna have a very large dog that's very powerful, very easily distracted. This is, you got to know what's coming.
Hello,
So
mate.
very, very, very powerful.
Hello.
Really pulling.
Jesus Christ.
Very excitable.
Go get that.
And then we instantly switch him
That's it, Baloo. Well done, mate. Go get that
to,
one.
I'm assuming, a prong
There you
collar.
go. Let's get a bit of focus going on from you, shall we, Baloo?
So he's just very excitable. Ouch, ouch. He's tossing treats. That's awesome. I don't know if he's tossing them to correct the dog when he pulls into it, but that was very good.
I just want a little bit of focus from him first. Baloo has no idea what the lead means. For Baloo, tension means pull more.
Well, that's pretty instinctual. I mean, that's instinctive anyway. Like with animals, opposition reflex, that's what it is. Is, a pull into a pull.
Teach him tension. Yes.
Ouch. So I assume that he's getting this by using a special collar. I'm going to say a prong collar. Might be a tiny slip lead. But it would help if he would explain that in his video, that's how he's doing it. He's getting more from this giant animal by using more. I'll even be nice in this one. I'm not going to say that. I mean, I don't see him being overly aggressive. I think it's great. If he would just explain that he's using other tools to get more leverage on him and therefore more control. And yes, you can use them for an outsized, a dog that outweighs their owner, and is just mismatched. You can use those and not necessarily be cruel. Just be honest. Yeah, we're using this to get more compliance from the dog because it causes more discomfort and the dog wants to avoid it. And then once we can teach him this, you can use a prong collar and treats. I don't think you need the prong collar, but I get it. Okay. So if you use it and you use the treats, then eventually you can fade away from the prong collar, so you don't need it. You can walk this guy on a harness or a leash once you teach him to give into pressure. I mean, literally, I had a comment just last night that said that prong collars are not pain compliance, and that apparently I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. So, okay, whatever you think. Prong collars are made to cause discomfort. They are pain compliance. That's how they work. But apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Means slow down. Okay? So tension.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yes.
So it's not just tension. He's running into the prong collar. Now, he doesn't seem hurt by it at all. I mean, like, he probably barely phases him with all the fur. And he's still having a good time. But it is still putting the brakes on him very easily versus before. So if he were to explain that, hey, I'm using this, and whatever his plan is, for the video's sake, I'm sure he explains that to the owner, or maybe he doesn't, I don't know. And he's saying, hey, I'm using this to get more control. And if he were to say, once I can get that control and really practice that behavior, so that way Baloo understands the behavior we want, we can move away from the tool so we don't have to rely on it, and we can use a regular flat buckle collar, or a shoelace or whatever. You can teach him to accept anything and he will be that soft. So again, this looks like magic to people, but they don't realize it's just probably from a prong collar. And I'm not saying this dog is like, being hurt or detrimental. I mean, dogs hide pain a lot. I'm not saying this dog is in absolute agony, but, it hurts enough. It causes enough, like, ouch, where he wants to move into the pressure, or he doesn't want to, he wants to move away from the pressure of the collar and move into him.
Start to shake where I want him. Tension.
Tension on a prong collar. Tap, tap, tap.
Not zoomies.
So I would probably let him go and run his zoomies first before we even start this. I don't know how often he gets out. Probably not very often because he's running his, he's dragging his owner down the street. So we're going to try and we see him walking on the leash. We're going to see what else he wants to teach this little guy. Little guy, I mean, he's giant. Okay, so they're going to be working on jumping. Good.
Yeah.
I was actually okay with that. Very good.
Barking is his way of saying, give me attention, give me attention.
He's excited.
Sit.
I do. Okay, I don't like how you're yelling and like popping up on the dog. That's just me. I don't like this whole boss and this and that. You don't need to yell at the dog. You can easily wait for him to sit or ask for a sit, or they can ask for a sit. What I did like is that as soon as he gave him got his attention by calling his name or saying something, made that eye contact as soon as he did, then he treated him and he backed away and redirected the dog and created, okay, we're releasing pressure, of this person facing you, standing and facing you. It could be making you more nervous, could make you more excited, this and that. So I do like how he backed away and gave the dog release from this distraction. I thought that was really good.
Now, the mistake...
Okay, so I want to know what happened in that cut. They're a little bit closer now. He was looking that way. What happened? Are they cutting for time? I don't know. Did he correct the dog? Did they try it again a couple more times? I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking. I'm not saying anything happened, but we don't know because there's just like a random cut. And because he doesn't explain everything he does, that's what makes me wonder what happened in that cut. Is he just trying to save time? Then he could, make a note of that. But
if I stand here, walk towards him, walk right straight towards him, see how he could go straight there, and then if he's all worked up, boom, 65 kilo St. Bernard on you. Baloo, come here. Whereas if
boy, you could reward him there. But yes, I understand that if your dog is in front of you and all that, well, I mean, you can also. My goal is to be able to proof the dog that they can control themselves in any number of situations where if they are ahead of me, there's no worry about them wanting to jump on the person because we've worked on it. We've practiced it. I don't have to constantly be in front of him. I don't have to constantly hold him on his collar with 2 inches of slack. I don't have to hold his collar. I don't have to hold anything. He could be off leash and someone could be, doing a marching band and he's fine because we've worked on it.
He's a lovely dog. Can I say hello? Walk towards me. Sit.
No, I don't like. Okay, so this I don't like, and I don't like it for a number of reasons. That one, he's just over controlling, and especially with large dogs like this, when people approach any animal, especially a large one that could be nervous, we as humans try to make the other human comfortable. So we create this false sense of security for the other person by pulling up on the dog's collar, telling them to sit, not even asking, making them sit, sometimes pushing them down, and making them be quiet and compliant for the stranger to come and feel comfortable in their space and pet them. When the dog could be giving a lot of stress signals, especially the reactive dogs, or people will call them aggressive, but they're reactive because they're nervous. A dog that would otherwise bark and snap and maybe even try to bite someone, we can take all that away because we take the dog's rights away because we say, sit down, shut up, and just sit here, and this person's going to come and say hello, and if you try to do anything, I'm going to correct you, or it's going to be your fault. So I don't want someone to force their dog, and yeah, I mean, he's forcing him. Like, this dog didn't have a choice to stand there. The dog, probably would have been perfectly fine standing, but he wanted to make the dog. He took away the dog's option to stand there, or be in any other position that might be more comfortable for the dog, and make the dog feel less agitated, frustrated, excited, because, again, we make this false sense of security for the stranger.
I get him under control. I stand here.
He doesn't care. Don't try to act like your boss if you're going to try and say that, because he doesn't care if you're boss. He's looking away. He's like, whatever.
Hey, I've got a short but relaxed lead, so if he does jump up, I just pull up and I go into him to create that space.
No, don't worry about the space creating and all that. You're going to make this dog head shy. You're going to make him irritated. He can redirect on you. You're going to make him more frustrated. Look, if your dog is not, if you have to do all this, have a short, I mean, that's the problem with it, is you have to have a short leash. You have to have a prong collar. You have to stand in front of him. You have to do this and that. Your dog's not ready to say hello to someone. If you're worried about them jumping, You should be able to stand behind them, behind 6 feet of loose leash, and then they're ready when the dog shows that they have given consent to accept petting from this person, which means the dog is not looking away, they're not cowering, they're not showing belly up. They actually are standing there calmly. The person comes up, the dog can give a sniff, and then it can either lean in or the person can give a quick pet or on the chest or walk away or whatever. Remember, the dog, just because they're fuzzy, doesn't mean that's consent. If I ever go to pet a dog, or I have a dog that wants to meet another dog, first I ask, of course, the human, hey, may we approach or may I approach? And if the human says yes, if they say yes, if they say no, I say no problem. If they say yes, then I read the dog's body language and ask them in a way for consent. If the dog looks like they want to interact with me, I will go over, turn my side, let them sniff me and give them a little pet. And if I have another dog, then I want to read both dogs and make sure that they are okay to meet, that this dog wants to accept this other dog. If they don't, then we move away.
Then, when he's looking at me, go on in, let him go and say hello to a person. But taking those few minutes means he's calmer than just that smash.
No,
smash,
I mean, I can
smash.
agree. I absolutely agree. Where I would say, hey, if we're walking around and this person is walking up to us, then I might stop, read him, maybe ask for sit or some other obedience, not because I want him to sit for this person to approach, but I want to see where his mind is. Hey, are you able to listen to me and follow through with simple obedience cues that I don't otherwise use? So that would be a good way to test your dog's comfort level and attention span.
Then when we're done, so I don't pull him away.
Good.
I'm going to get very close and personal with you now, Soph. Watch this leg.
No, I disagree with that. That's just stupid. That can again make the dog, you're ambushing the dog. So instead of worried about pulling him away because he's worried that somehow he may redirect on the person or cause something else, you're just going to knee him in the face. It's just stupid. How about you have a relationship with your dog and you call them and move away like you did earlier, which I gave you credit for with your reward, but now this is just, I think it's just unnecessary.
Into him, create space.
Why? No, don't worry about this space creating. How about you have the other person back away, out of your dog's space? They walked into it, they can walk out of it.
Yeah? Because sometimes when you pull a dog back, they can get frustrated.
Yeah?
So again, it's that...
You think they're not going to get frustrated with you walking into their face? I know Adonis certainly would.
body into the dog to create some space.
Ouch, ouch. So the dog runs to the end of the leash. He's just so tight and short and...
Yeah? But he's learning. He's a smart dog. They are
Yep,
super
prong collar.
smart.
Told you, prong collar.
St. Bernards are. Come here, bud. Come round. Stop.
Ouch,
Sit.
ouch.
Atta boy.
See, he's getting mouthy because he says, ow, dude, you're hurting me.
Shaking your head.
This would be so much more impressive if he had him on a regular flat buckle collar or even a harness that clips in the back. That would be impressive to me. This is not, I mean, anybody can do this.
Once I can control the dog. Soph, come in.
Tight.
Frank's there. Sit.
Forcing the sit, pulling on the dog. He's
We're
working
gonna have a
too fast.
conversation.
Lip licks.
Soph.
He doesn't have
Once
the dog
I can
under control.
the dog.
Oh, this dog was staring. I could have told you he was going to react this way. This dog is nervous. He's also on a prong collar. Bad situation altogether. You're not in control of this dog. You're holding him back. This is not good. You're way too close. Both of them are making eye contact. Very dangerous. You need to... See, this is the whole thing about this, is that it looks nice and it looks like magic, but it's not. It's just a prong collar. It's holding them back with pain. That's all it is. Or if he was tied to a post, that's it. It's just holding him back. You're not teaching the dog anything. You're not teaching him skills. You could teach him by, say he's over here and this dog is at the other end. As we saw, he was already excitable with what looked like another dog at the other end. And you can just walk back and forth here on your loose leash, not on a prong collar, and reward him every time he looks at you, every time he follows you on a turn. Not turning into him, but turning away from him, or stopping and walking backwards and calling him to you. And then you get closer and closer.
Right now, he's really going. See my lead tight? Watch this leg. Hey.
Ouch. That's a good way to make this dog redirect on you. It didn't do anything other than he's not going to be trusting of you. You're just walking into his face. They did absolutely nothing. Except for maybe boost his ego that he's working with a very large, powerful dog. And he can do it very easily by using metal prongs in his neck and walking into his face. And this dog really, if he really wanted to fight, he could. But he's not. I think he's just really excited. And this prong collar and this tightness is going to make him more frustrated. So what would have been maybe playfulness and frustration from wanting to play can turn into aggression.
Yeah. And I'm going to come round and I'm going to reset. Not through the legs. Sit.
Jumping.
That was him jumping on me as a protest, not me pulling him up. He's 65 kilos.
Yeah, he's protesting because you're hurting him and you're causing discomfort and nagging him with this tight leash and throwing him all around. He's excited. He's getting frustrated with you.
String him up. Hello.
Yeah, right there, right there. Why did you not reward for that? Just, hello. That would have been the perfect moment to reward. But see, he only ever uses the treats in the beginning. You know, to prove, oh yeah, I'm a nice guy. And then we screw the treats, and then we throw them out, put the prong collar on, and then we're a big-time boss guy. Like, really? That would have been a perfect time to reward him for looking at you in the presence of this other dog. Meanwhile, this dog has not looked away this whole time.
Walk towards me a little bit. Stop there.
Shake. Shake off. Was that, from the irritation of the prong collar? Oh, it's a male. Okay. Irritation of the prong collar. They're still walking by. They're still looking at him. Too close.
Sit.
This is called
Loosely.
flooding.
Relax.
Don't yell at the dog. Again, false sense of security.
Sniff in.
Closing his mouth.
Good boy.
Sniffing. This dog is a little nervous. Short lips.
Break it a little bit because he's fixating. So just walk around.
Okay, so that was better.
Break that fixation.
But you could have moved away and rewarded. There's so many other things you can do here that doesn't just rely on having to hold him back by using metal prongs in his throat. So hands over the really, really short leash on the prong collar to this other person. Asking which side they walk on.
You know what? When I started training dogs,
You don't need to pay You don't need to pay anybody to do this. Just put a prong collar on your dog and just go walking. I mean, I'm not actually saying to do that, but they don't need to pay this guy to do that. The prong collar is doing all the work. That's it. There's nothing fancy here. So we're going to try and end that one there, so it's a little bit shorter. I do have a few more from this gentleman that has been requested that I go over, but I'll sprinkle in some other requests in video so it doesn't get too boring. And if you want to see the full video in different parts, then just let me know. I want to test this out to see if this, this shortish video would work out for y'all. So thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. Go give your little loved ones some loving. And until next time, stay positive.